I bet you guys thought we could go a week without there being shark news. Let's do it. Well, the reports are in. Twitter is not happy. Ladies and gentlemen, David Quinn appears to be your new Sharks head coach, 11th one for the franchise. So we'll throw it out there right now. Chat, what do you think? Somebody post a poll. Eric, get on that. Throw up a poll. Yay or nay? And as we get to that, as always, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're always talking Sharks. Seems like endlessly. And if you want to keep us as the one and only podcast on the planet that is commercial free, you know where to hit us up in the Super Chat or on Venmo. So here we are. Kevin Weeks, Elliotte Friedman, Buddy Sheng Peng, everybody saying Dan Quinn is fait accompli as the new Sharks head coach. Despite all the other names we heard, I mean, this was the first name that was bandied about. So, Ian, your initial thoughts on this before we dive in?
The summer of meh continues.
You're so right. Eric?
I'm with Ian. We saw this coming, and we went from Sharks being a prerequisite for the GM. Is it being in Boston or being a member of Boston University a prerequisite to be working the Sharks?
I would think so. I assume
BU,
that,
you're right, BU, yeah.
Yeah, I assume David Krejci is going to be like on the staff in a couple of years once he calls it a day. I don't know. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. Can we get Poppy, Big Poppy up here? He's from Boston, right? I mean, anybody that has Boston ties, right? What's Larry Bird up to?
Let's get Cam Neely. Are we going to have clam chowder and a sourdough bowl at the arena next year? What's going on?
I look forward to that. As long as
That's
they can
not
do it. Yeah, as long as they can do it well. So look, if you saw a lot of Twitter when it was, or social media at large, and it was kind of being bandied about with David Quinn, New York fans were very much kind of good luck, suckers. This guy ruins youth, but I mean, to be fair, a lot of the same complaints we've heard about the last two Sharks coaches. Ian, what do you expect? I'll tell you this. I'm a little bummed out. I was kind of rooting for either what was it, Vellucci out of Pittsburgh, or more so the guy from the Chicago Wolves, or the Walla Walla, Washington. What's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Wojcinski, Waforski,
something. Yeah, like here's the thing with this, right? Like, and it's hard to say because obviously New York, I have questions about this hire because of everything that Mike Grier has preached and gone in about. David Quinn got fired from the Rangers last summer, and one of the biggest complaints that James Dolan had was they were not a difficult team to play against. Now, is that fair? Is that all on David Quinn? Is that roster construction, whatever? Because like Dolan went in there and cleared out the front office, the coaching staff. And so I have questions. If this is supposed to be a team that's supposed to be difficult to play against, why is David Quinn the guy?
Well, and I don't know much about the history on David Quinn aside from what I've seen written on the social, but of course, if it's on the internet, it has to be true. The other guys, when I looked at some of the comments on the background of Vellucci and how he'd come up, the other guy, we'll get his name at some point, Waforski something.
Yeah.
He, won with the Chicago Wolves. Now, I get it. The A and the N, very different animals, but I liked a lot of the things that I was hearing about him, and I'm going, not a retread. This is a guy who's, making his way, coming up, and almost to the point where it kind of gave me a little bit of the Jay Woodcroft feelies. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Like a guy who pounded his way through the system, got the opportunity to take his first bench, and up to this point has been pretty damn successful. We'll see what happens with the Edmonton Oilers next year, but had a pretty damn good run. Erik, was there somebody that you were hoping for that wasn't David Quinn? And you can't say Marco Sturm, goddammit.
Well, I want to say Marco Sturm.
Okay,
because
then
that's
go
the
ahead.
guy
Say Marco. All right, so another guy who Boston ties.
But, yeah, I mean, right there you go. Right, perfect fit, guys. Come on, let's go. No, Wersofsky, I think, like you said, from Chicago was the guy I had in mind. Nothing really stood out in the junior ranks or the college ranks, really. And of course, it's late. I mean, it's July 21st. You're not going to find too many candidates out there. I was thinking maybe Jim Montgomery, since he had some Shark ties to it, but he already got taken up in Boston.
Which means he'll be the Sharks coach in 3 years, but go ahead.
Exactly. But I mean, David Quinn, I kind of suspected this when we heard the reports about Mike Grier being the GM. Does he grab anybody off of the Rangers staff or previously with the Rangers staff? And sure enough, bang on with that guess.
I mean, at this point, is Mike Grier going to bring on anybody who doesn't have some sort of tie to New York or Boston?
Right?
No, I mean, it seems like, obviously, I think when you work in a certain conference, I think you're obviously going to have more relationships in that conference than you would elsewhere. So obviously he's going to look for guys that he knows, right? And I think that explains a lot of the Eastern Conference guys coming over to the Sharks, because those are guys that he's worked with closely before.
I don't know. Back to what you said, Ian, I'm very just kind of meh. I'm very whelmed by this.
Yeah.
And it's only, it's a 3-year deal, which, like I said earlier, by offline, by my scorecard, it's going to be right around the time the Sharks are looking to get back into the playoffs. So this might work out well. Other people have said they've seen the Quinn hiring, and they're going, yeah, I think we can say the tank for Bedard is on.
Yeah.
And looking at the poll right now, we put up just now, what do you think of David Quinn to be the Sharks head coach? 76% is saying meh, we'll see. 10% excited. 14%, nope, not a fan.
Here's the thing, though, like with David Quinn, right? Like, this isn't Peter DeBoer on his, like, 6th job, right? Like, this is a second kick at the can. I have a little more, like, I'm not a retread guy specifically, but I don't hate a guy getting a second chance, right? Like, I don't hate that.
Worked out great for Bob Buckner.
What I think, yeah, well, some guys are just better assistants. The thing that I'm starting to really wonder is because David Quinn also had a lot of Rangers didn't like him because, like, when he was there, Kakko wasn't getting enough playing time. Lafreniere didn't really get a chance to shine under him. And I just wonder if this is, like, I have this kind of conspiracy theory that I've kind of started to run with now. And I'm not the first person to have this thought, so I'm not going to say this is an original thought from the mind of Ian. I don't think any of the kids are playing next year. I think they're all in the Barracuda.
See,
develop the chemistry.
No,
perhaps?
because to sell the future, because this team's going to be ass. So instead of bringing up the kids, they're going to have all the kids try and tear apart the A, and if they don't, oh my God, that's a disaster. But I'm starting to wonder if the kids aren't going to play.
And they have that secret weapon of Aaron Dell and net.
I have thoughts there too.
Oh boy.
Ian, I think we can all put on the tinfoil for a second. We're the conspiracy. I don't disagree with what you're saying. There has been a new regime that has taken hold of the Barracuda. I believe it's led by Erik Grunfast. Brand new barn, right? Mm-hmm. Exciting new prospects. Mm-hmm. They're actually, putting a little bit of promotion behind the team. Earlier today, Liz Child announced that, and the Barracuda announced that she's going to be writing for them this year.
Which is amazing, because she's great. I love her.
Yeah, so she'll do a great job in that. I don't know if that means that she'll still continue writing for SJHN, but seems like that would be conflict of interest. But we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of push behind the Barracuda, and I think you could be right, Ian, where it's just kind of like, let's get them to tear up the A, get excited about the future. But conversely, I go back to what we were talking about, I don't know, years ago, where it's just kind of like, is San Jose finally admitting there's a rebuild?
No, they'll never say it out loud. But I mean, if you
All
can't
their-
read the tea leaves at this point, I mean, that's on you.
I was going to say, actions speak louder than words. Actions are what I'm looking at. This screams rebuild. Another thing that we can get to in a minute or so is I still want to know how the Sharks are going to deploy a team right now. They only have 1.3 in the cap. They still don't have Ferraro. They still haven't activated LeBanc. You don't have a lot of money, guys. I don't know how you're doing this without making some more moves. So
I think there's more moves coming. Like I think
There
that
has to be.
this current roster, the way it's constructed, but I mean they've brought in a lot of guys that I don't think are here to play. Like I think like a guy like I see in the chat, like a guy like Bordelot. I think a guy like Bordelot probably makes the team. Like I think one of Bordelot, maybe Eklund can squeak his way in too. But man, with all the guys they've signed and without some of these bodies moving out, like I just don't know where they fit.
I completely agree. And there's still other pieces, right? Like there's Gadjevic and VL. I mean, right now I've got it on my scorecard here where if you're starting this team, it's Meier, Hertl, Barabanov, Gregor, Couture, Kunin, Lindblom, Bonino, LeBanc, Nieto, Sturm, Lorentz, So all those kids, they're all playing in the A. We haven't even mentioned VL or Gadjevic. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that. Now, reading off that list, does that scare you? I mean, I shouldn't say that. Is that going to scare other teams?
Oh, I was going to say you're right the first time. I'm scared.
No
They have
kidding.
82 After Darks to do. They're going to be not fun this year.
Oh, boy.
Dude, I mean, and then on the back end, Knizhov and Karlsson, Ferraro, Nudivara, and then Vlasic with Benning. We still haven't even mentioned Shimmick. If he's
Merkley.
and
Merkley.
Ryan Merkley, yeah. So I mean,
And you talk about veteran presence and how David Quinn wasn't exactly great with the kids earlier. I mean, what does that do with Ryan Merkley? I mean, do you send him back down the minors? I mean, I look at it like you guys had said, the CUDA should be good, and I would love to see them develop the chemistry down there and then bring it up when they get called up. But man, do you get a Barracuda season ticket plan, or do you get a Sharks partial plan next season?
I mean, I would be if it's my money, I'm far more interested in like going into the season. I'm far more interested in what the Barracuda are going to do than what the Sharks are going to do because I have no expectations for the Sharks.
dude, how many times have we seen Sharks season ticket holders get gifted tickets for Barracuda games? Because they want to juice the attendance. I'm going to laugh my ass off if this year, buy a season ticket package for the Barracuda and we'll give you a free 10-pack for the Sharks.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
it's hard to be excited about this team, right? And obviously, like, again, to be fair, this isn't the finished product, but I don't think the finished product's going to excite me any more than this current mishmash of players does.
not by any stretch. I mean,
Like, maybe they'll be tougher to play against, but is that going to win hockey games? I
well,
don't know. I mean, who's going to score the goals?
right? And that
But
goes back to something that I was when Brent Burns was moved out and it was this whole heavier, harder team, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yes, I remember 97, 98 quite well. Couldn't go to the playoffs, but boy, the Sharks would kick the hell out of you. They might not win the game, but you'd feel it on the plane ride to the next game. But
Yeah, but you know what? Like, people say, "Oh, well, that's better," but is it? Like, wait until they win 30 games this season. We'll see how you feel about it then. Oh, were they tougher to play? Yeah, but they won 30 games if they were lucky.
well, I want to know how guys like Couture and Hertl and Meier are going to feel about this upcoming season, and Erik Karlsson. Now, I know that Mike Grier said in a media call a week or so ago something, I've talked to those guys, they seem excited, ready to go, blah blah blah, and I'm like, what else are you going to say? Like, let's be honest. You know, you're going to come out and go, yeah, I talked to Couture and Karlsson. They are pissed. But
they want out.
Yeah, they want out. But hey, you know what? Their contracts dictate that they're here, so fuck them. Let's go. You know, like honestly, it just.
Well, basically, are you foreseeing, AJ, that we're going to have a repeat of Roberto Luongo with Erik Karlsson saying my contract sucks?
I mean, own it, dude. It's what you wanted. That's why you signed here. You know, you wanted that cash, and I gotta know what. I would love to hear a pure, honest conversation with Erik Karlsson where he can actually, like, I look forward 10 years from now when he's out of the league, if he can be as honest as, like, John Scott has been. If he can sit there and go, you know what? I signed this deal. I thought it was going to go one way, and it so went the opposite way. And, you know, I chased the money. That was it.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that the guy can't stay healthy. But this is, I mean, if Karlsson, the runway is open for Erik Karlsson this season. There's no Brent Burns to share time with. You know, he can be the guy on the back end.
He's going to have to be because, like, again, is Ryan Merkley going to play under this with all the guys they've got signed? I've got questions.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm sitting there going, if Karlsson gets injured for any amount of time, I don't give a damn what the injury is. I don't care if he, you know, gets turf toe from playing flag football with his kids. Like, if he misses any more than 10 games next season for whatever reason, it's just going to, like, here we go again. And who takes up all that time? And I think at some point, the long-time Karlsson defenders are going to finally have to admit halfway through this deal, what a terrible fucking deal this was. Just did not turn out.
No, it's just a loss if that's the case. I mean, you can't predict injuries. Granted, he had some injuries coming in from Ottawa, but nothing like this.
No, this has been ridiculous. Let me catch one in the comments here. So Karlsson said he didn't sign in San Jose to be part of a rebuild. He has a no movement clause, not a no trade, a no move. Can he request to remove the clause, or it's not an option in the NHL? Oh, he can fucking go right up. He can go right up to Mike Grier and go, get me the hell out of here. Trade me anywhere. I will waive it yesterday, and he can be moved.
Yeah, but it's his clause to waive. It's his choice whether he waives or doesn't waive his no trade clause. But I mean, this is like we've gone down a rabbit hole here.
Oh, well, and see, and here's the funny. I like this comment just because of like revisionist history. Who's defending Karlsson? It's like, are you kidding me? The Karens and the Kyles of the world were lining up defending him, saying, oh, my Lord, we have to, you know, like, he's elite. No, he was elite. There's a difference. And for whatever reason, I guess Doug Wilson thought that he could pull off whatever he did in Ottawa, and it just has not been the case. But we should probably, this is the David Quinn show, not the Erik Karlsson show.
I was going to say, like, we've gone down a super rabbit hole here. Way off.
We know AJ's part of this one because he can always channel it to, like, fuck Erik Karlsson. So now, if David Quinn is coming in, we heard those other names. What's the Chicago Wolves guy's name? Wasowski? Okay. Rafalski. Brian Rafalski? Okay. But that dude, Vellucci, I mean, there were some other names. Would it be fair to say that maybe those guys get tendered options to be assistants?
Possible. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Like, usually the head coach picks his staff, right? So it'll be interesting to see who David Quinn reaches out to bring in on his staff. But it's possible they could reach out to those guys. But I think
what's Alain Vigneault up to?
Yeah, what's Alain Vigneault too? But for me, like, unless you're bringing a guy up from the A, like, someone else is not going to give you their assistant coach to be your assistant coach, right? Like, if they're not going to stop a guy from leaving their NHL organization to have a promotion, but are they going to give you their assistant coach just to give you their assistant coach?
especially
not.
this late in the game. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
this late, right?
So that brings up the other point that
Yeah,
I think
thank you.
I think Eric was making earlier was we are this late in the game. Who the hell's available?
Plenty of people. I don't know. I there's plenty of people. Like, obviously, like, a lot of the sexy names probably aren't out there, but I think if you're bringing in assistants, I mean, you can bring them in from anywhere, right? You can bring guys in from junior, you can bring guys in from college, you can bring guys in from the AHL. Those are all places where I think you can pull players from. Do I have a list of names that I would bring in off the top of my head? No, but there's plenty of guys that you can get at this point in the season.
Hold on, what is this? Let's see. Couture loves the team and franchise. As he said, he was really happy to stay after the Burns trade. EK65, I would say lack of legs and motivation, yes. Again, Couture loves the team. Franchise said he was really happy to stay. Again, what else is he going to say?
What else? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like
there's only so much you can put into those comments. And to be quite honest, there's you'll see different podcasts do interviews with different prospects, whether it's with the Sharks or it's other ones. I'll tell you, one of the primary reasons why we don't tend to do those, what are they going to tell you? That's honest. Oh, I love this, love everything about it, can't wait to be here, blah, 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 blah. So to me, I just, if you guys want it, I'll work into getting them on, but don't yell at me then and say, oh, you didn't get them to answer this or didn't say that. They're conditioned. They're coached literally with media coaches on how to react. So
pucks in deep, got to give 110%, 100% of the time.
Yeah, all that. What's Michael on here? Not super familiar with him, but from what I've read, it seems Quinn didn't get to see the good part of the Rangers rebuild. Probably won't be here either for how long it's going to take. My point earlier, absolutely. This is a stopgap.
It's a guy who's here for now. I don't think he's the guy that's here when things turn, because I don't think things are going to turn quickly. But I think even if Mike Grier has a plan, and even if it starts working out, I don't think eventually, you have to start turning over this roster. And that's what they've started to do, what Mike Grier started to do by moving out guys like Brent Burns. It's time to start flipping over this roster. It's time to start bringing in some younger blood. You've got guys signed until they're 40. Well, guess what? People generally don't get better as they age. They don't.
Speak for yourself, pal.
Well, hockey players generally don't, though, right? Getting out from Burns now was the play, because that value is only going to decrease year over year. As he gets closer to 40, that value goes down. Logan Couture's on the wrong side of 30. I like Logan Couture. I think Logan Couture just needs some wingers. That would probably help him a lot. But he's also on the wrong side of 30.
What do you think, if anything, that this means for the potential of re-signing Timo Meier?
Timo Meier's future terrifies me right now, because I don't know where, with all these guys that they're signing, and they haven't really left any room on the table for Timo Meier's extension. Now, again, what does Timo want to do? Timo's got 1 year left after that year of this is his last restricted contract. So he can sign his qualifying offer and kick that can down the road a year, and you can walk him to free agency, or maybe he signs a 1 year deal, or maybe he says, I don't want to sign.
Trade me right fucking now.
And does what Matthew Tkachuk just did in Calgary, right? We don't know. I mean, I don't have any inside information, so I'm not telling you, Timo, don't go to Twitter and be like, oh my god, Ian on 211 USA says Timo wants the fuck out. No.
No, but it presents the situation at hand, with new management, new direction, the evolution, as they said on the presser a couple of weeks ago. There's no he's one of our draft guys, it's fine. No, you got a new guy in town. So now you need to wonder, okay, Timo, this is what we got going on right now. This is what our plan is. Do you want to be here, or do you want to go somewhere to make money or go win a cup?
I mean,
That's
you can try to sell them on the youth at the CUDA and say, hey, stick around when you're the elder statesman. This is really going to get rocking.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a question. I saw a thing in the chat about Burns not missing a game. But maybe you could have got more from at the deadline. But the problem was you needed cap space right now.
Yep.
Like,
and
so
don't
you
think,
didn't have the luxury to wait till the deadline.
Well, and don't think that all the people that Grier was talking about weren't painfully aware of that fact.
Right. Oh yeah, the Sharks need cap space right now. Like that was the problem. Unfortunately, that was the biggest thing the Sharks gained from it. Now, mind you, they spent all that cap space unwisely, in my opinion. But it's neither here nor there.
But it's similar to like the Vegas situation. Every time they want to make a move, the other GMs are going, "Oh, you guys are hosed right now. This is the pittance we'll give you." Vegas is literally giving away players for free.
Oh.
Dude, when the best off signing that you had, the best off-season signing you had was future considerations. Whoa. Now, that being said, Vegas is going to beat the shit out of the Sharks this season. I have no doubt.
So will the Kraken.
That I don't know about, but it's, dude, this, I don't know. Like, it's so funny that just as the season was ending, I remember going, look, I didn't have high hopes for this team this season. I projected them to finish low, and they finished under my projection. And this season, I would project them worse. But at the end of this past season, I still kind of had some hope. I'm like, well, if you can move Reimer in the offseason, if you can sign, Kakinen and he plays well, or better yet, if you can move it, like this is all like awesome, hold the fingers and pray type bullshit. But it's like, if you can sign Kakinen for a couple of years, you keep Reimer. If you can figure out a way to get Hill off with it not really looking super bad, but get him out of here, then maybe in like 2 years, Reimer's ready to bounce unless you can flip him for something good, and maybe you can call up somebody from the A that's performing way above their head. Like maybe there's that, and maybe Merkley with more freedom blossoms. And, like maybe that, hopefully this, blah, 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 blah. And I'll tell you, ever since, I think it pretty much started with Mike Grier. I was like, really? That's where we're going? And then all the signings. And so the last time that I was excited about anything was the draft. Right? And then I was real bummed out 2 days later when D.W. Will Jr. was gone. And I'm just like,
yeah, and even the draft itself, I think they probably got some guys in the draft, but I think they fumbled that ball too.
Yeah, this, let's talk to me in 2 years and let's see how much people were upset with Doug Wilson then. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be one or the other.
Here's the problem, and I know people are and I've kind of seen this on Twitter, and I think it's stupid, right? Because it's like, oh, I bet you miss Doug Wilson now. No, Doug Wilson's the reason this team is in the fucking shambles it's in. Mm-hmm. The reason that Mike Grier has to do all this shit is because Doug Wilson ran it into the ground.
But revisionist
do
history.
I miss Doug Wilson now? No. Doug Wilson was fucking stay the course and do this forever. At least Mike Grier is trying to do something. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but it's something. It's better than staying the fucking course and crossing your fingers and hoping to God you just make the playoffs.
I'll be interested to see this when we talk about this 3 years from now. I'm going to be real interested to see how things have progressed, and if Quinn. First off, if the Sharks miss the playoffs for the next 2 seasons and say that there's no improvement year over year, if they actually regress, I would bet money that Quinn gets scapegoated. We've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
But because who wants to play for a lame duck coach, right? So once you get into year 3, it just makes me wonder if it's still not looking very good. I almost wonder if Hasso says, you know what? I fucked up. I shouldn't have given the reins to Grier, and we shouldn't have hired Quinn, and so I'm going to clean it out again.
I don't know. I think history would say no, but we'll see.
Yeah. Lanical, thank you so much for the donation. Meh is my initial reaction here. Join the club.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not angry about this, right? Like,
I'm just disappointed.
I'm just so whelmed. It's just whelming. Like, I can't. I'm not angry about it, but I just think like nothing that Mike Grier has done so far has just like been like a hell yeah moment. You know what I mean? It's all like, it's fine, it's okay, it's whatever. I mean, there's some things where I'm scratching my head and I'm hoping as the summer progresses, it will make more sense because someone needs to make. Well, I have theories about the goaltending situation too, but like someone needs to make that sense to me because I was like defending all the goalies. I'm like, hey, look at, like as long as you got places for everyone to play, then what's wrong? Who cares? But now it's like you've got too many goalies in the NHL and too many goals in the AHL because I don't consider Dell. Like, Dell's not here to back up James Reimer.
Dude, I swear to God, the only reason why they signed Dell is because he will transition into the AHL goalie coach.
I don't even think that. I think he's there as a safety blanket in case Strauss-Mann, because Strauss-Mann's not tested at the AHL level. They grabbed the other goaltender in the trade for, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The Brent Burns.
E2 Niemi Maki or whatever.
Thank you.
Makaniemi.
Yes. Yeah, Makaniemi. So neither, Makaniemi doesn't have a whole lot of sample size at the AHL level, and Strauss-Mann doesn't have a thing. So I think that Aaron Dell's there again because I think the focus right now is making the Barracuda as good as possible. And Aaron Dell, say what you want about Aaron Dell, but Aaron Dell back in the day, I don't know if he's still at that point, but he dragged the Barracuda into the playoffs kicking and screaming.
Solid point.
Right? And here's what I think too. I think that one, they're going to get rid of one of the three goalies soon. James Reimer's gone to the trade deadline, which means Kaapo Kakkonen backed up by Aaron Dell for the rest of the season as the tank continues.
Dude, put it in the book. Put it in the book. Dude, that's bulletin board material right now. Put that on the calendar. Pin that tweet. Crispy Joe asking, and good to see you. Been too long, bro.
Yes.
How's next year's draft class? From everything I've heard, it's supposed to be like deep as the ocean.
Yep, deep. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then there you go. I thought I saw something. Oh, we're gonna Eric. Are we gonna change the show to the Meh Cast next season?
That's what it might be, unfortunately. Oh man, yeah. 82 After Darks are gonna be. Oh.
Wow. Al going off board. Delta forward.
Forward. We thought that would go away after Burnsy gets straight, but no, it will not. Unfortunately, the tough part is that you don't know the direction. I think if we knew exactly where this team was going, and they admitted it,
but I think we do. It's there. This is the rebuild. This is Mike, as Ian said earlier. This is Mike Grier's attempt. This is him out there with the vacuum and the dustpan and the sweeper trying to clean up all the shit that Doug Wilson left on the floor. And it's going to get, we've said this like a season or two ago. It's going to get worse before it gets better. This is it getting worse. And let's see what happens, 2 seasons from now when Eklund and Bordelot and I don't know, maybe fire out some names, maybe Gushkin, maybe Robbins, there's some players that maybe.
I can't see Gushkin surviving. Like, I can't see Gushkin getting up under David Quinn, but
okay. But I'm talking about like the kids that are in this system right now that are just given a shit ton of marinating and seasoning at the A. And, who's to say? Again, talking out of my ass with hope, but who's to say that the Barracuda don't win the Calder next season or the season after?
I think they just have to be good. If both teams are like the Barracuda were awful last year and the Sharks
they're
were
the worst team in the
year.
A.
Yeah, so they can't have that situation again because you cannot sell the future if you don't have one. And that's why I think the Barracuda are being super bolstered right now because I think that's the play is they're going to say, look, because Mike Grier, he kind of said the same thing that Doug Wilson used to say. Might have to take a step back to take a step forward. And that 2020 draft class is a couple of those guys should be on your step forward.
God, I would hope so. Or what are you doing?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like 3 years out from now, as Quinn's contract comes to a head, whether it's proves fruitful or is just ketchup on a wall, we're gonna find out over the next 2 years if the Sharks can say the word rebuild. They won't, but
No, they won't.
But that's the thing that is kind of when it comes to the lack of honesty, that's probably the one that does sit with me. That's the one that sticks right here, where you kind of go, it's walking like a duck, it's quacking like a duck, but you want to keep telling me it's a lion.
Yep.
Sure.
And it's a big thing for David Quinn too. Just looking at the record, yeah, he had one runner-up when he was at BU in 2015, but the Rangers didn't do much with him. I mean, they lost in the qualifying round in 2020 in the bubble. So this
right.
is
That's
big
the thing,
on him
Joe. I did want to touch on that too, because I know it was, I think Alex in the chat, Al in the chat said earlier, like, hey, oh, well, they made the playoffs once and they got bounced. It wasn't even the playoffs. Like, they finished 7th, but because of everyone had the qualifying round except for the Sharks because they were awful. They got to play in the qualifying round and they got bounced quickly.
Well, the other thing, of course, that will be brought up is, let's say we get, I don't have the the card in front of me from last season, but by the halfway point, it was pretty. I think we all knew last season was not going to be a one of playoffs for the Sharks. If we get to the halfway point of this upcoming season and we're in the same boat, perhaps worse, then it's going to be like, again, because social media exists and everybody's got a fucking opinion, it's going to be, all the Bugner defenders, of course, will come out and say, see, it wasn't Bob.
I think two things can be true. It's a shit team with a shit coach.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Because we see it so many. How many times did we see people just shitting on Martin Jones? In fact, one of them I think I'm actually talking to right now would just dump on Martin Jones left and right. Then he puts together a good game, and then where's all the Jones haters now? And it's just like, oh my fucking god, back and forth with this stupid shit. So that's why I want to end social media. Help me. Can we start a GoFundMe so I can buy Facebook and just shut it down? Do we even
exist without social media, though? Like,
that's true.
As long as YouTube doesn't shut down. We just want to shut down Facebook. Let's just start at Facebook.
I mean, I don't use Facebook anymore. That's the solution. That's the real answer.
See, sometimes it's a necessary evil, and I fucking hate it. Oh, boy. All right. So, look, Taco Quinn sounds like a solid tank commander. Dude, the memes, the tank memes that are going to happen when this Sharks team starts off 2-8 in their first 10. Oh, the tire fire memes, the tank memes, the truck fire, the trash fire, all of it.
But that's the thing too, right? Is like everything is so bad. Like, this team has problems as it is, but everything's stacked against them. Teams that generally start in Europe generally come out of the gate pretty damn slow.
Yeah. Again, another thing where it's just like, you can't catch a goddamn break.
Mm-hmm. Everything's kind of best.
I'm just seeing a tweet now that's from Sheng that says he's updated his report. I think it looks to be that it just has the details that it's a 3-year deal. I don't know.
Good for Sheng.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
no. I'm genuinely genuinely good for him though, because he was the one that really broke it, and then everyone else kind of followed suit. So,
well, I think Friedman had it. Friedman was the one that were like, Sharks are zeroing it in, but I think.
But Sheng was the first one to put his name on it and say, "This is done."
It's done. Yeah. Good for him. Yeah, and I'm not trying to dump on anybody. I'm just trying to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, I'll tell you though, this it just seems like Doug Wilson Jr. caught a lot of shit because of his last name, right? People
Yes.
scream nepotism. And so far, Mike Grier, it's not out and out nepotism, but it certainly is like the buddy club so far.
I mean, but we've always said, like, we've always referred to, like, the front office, the coaching. It's always been the old boys club, though. Like, this isn't new. This isn't a Mike Grier problem. This is a hockey problem.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. My point is I just wish Grier knew cooler and better people. That's all.
Got to start off somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
I just, like, why Grier? You need to hang out in a better circle, people. Jerry F., thank you so much in the super chat. Thanks for all the great Sharks coverage, especially during summer. What the hell else do we have to do, man? The Giants suck. I don't know. They getting
hasn't
creamed
started unless you're CFL.
Yeah, are they getting creamed by the Dodgers yet? Probably. But look, we're gonna keep going. As Ian loves to say, when Sharks news breaks, we try to fix it.
We do.
But I don't know. Did you end the poll or is it still going?
It's still going. I can end it right now. But
So what's the final tally here?
Looking at it right now, it is 58% say meh, we'll see. 21% say not a fan. 21% are excited.
All right. So 80% of the fan base is like, this blows.
It's hard. Like, I can't envy people, though. Like, it's hard to get excited about this team right now.
Absolutely. And I'm more than willing to give the guy a chance, but we all know what's going to
Same.
happen. It's going to happen with Mike Grier. It's going to happen with Quinn. If things aren't, as Ian loves to say, if everything isn't awesome, then everybody's going to run in with their "I told yous," and like the whole thing is that get in line, grab a number. You're number 3 billion in line for the "I told you so" roulette. Lanical, my man. We are the boys club without a cup to drink out of.
It's true. Sad.
It is. It is sad.
My question here is that do the Sharks make the playoffs before the Sacramento Kings make the playoffs? Because those Kings haven't made the playoffs, I think, since 2006.
Somebody made a bet. I forget. There's a Twitter account that like documents when I guess a bet over 10,000 or something is taken in. Somebody put 10 grand on the Sacramento Kings to win the final next season. Now the odds would make him like a millionaire, but I'm just saying. Sorry, let me get to you, Berg. Thank you so much for the donation.
Yes.
Can the Sharks out tank Chicago? It should
No.
be a close race to the bottom. No, Chicago's going to be
No.
fucking horrible. If Chicago and Arizona aren't fighting for the worst record, there's something's got to give. And the
But I
only
still think,
reason
like,
is
if you
because
get
Kane and
down
Taze
there-
still give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, I don't know. I mean, I still think the Sharks can finish pretty low, though. And again, it's the lottery, right? I mean, all you need is the balls to come up in your favor, and we've seen teams move up, not the Sharks, but but we've seen teams move up. So I guess anything's possible. But like, are the Sharks going to be the odds-on favorite to land Bedard next year? No, because there's teams that are somehow more terrible than they are.
Yeah.
And hey, there's another thing about David Quinn. The Rangers won 2 draft lotteries at the helm.
with David Quinn as the coach.
Just putting that out there.
Man.
Get your Connor Bedard jerseys ready, folks.
Dude,
Oh,
this
All
man.
we need is Taylor Hall. We're set.
Hold on, let me see if I can do my my impression really quick. Here's my impression of Puckguy looking for a silver lining. Right here, hold on. Yeah. Okay, I think I found it.
There you go.
I mean, on my scorecard right now, next season it's a combination of Edmonton, LA, and Vegas. In fact, I might put it in that actual order: Edmonton, LA, Vegas, and this will be. What do you got something to say over there, pal?
I think Vegas finishes higher. I think
No,
I think
that's
this year was an aberration.
No, see, I think
it's lower.
Dude, I think the chickens is coming home to roost. Nobody wants to play for that fucking team anymore. Karma has swung hard. And again, this is me taking an opportunity to take a Sharks podcast and turn it into shitting all over the Vegas Golden Knights. But the thing that'll really bake you noodle, I might have Anaheim as 4th. But that goes to
see that.
But that goes to say how bad the Pacific is.
I mean,
Anaheim?
maybe. I don't know. I think
Dude, Vancouver is a
Vancouver's interesting.
They to me they're a
Vancouver's
coin
a meh.
toss. Calgary, that whole thing is falling apart like holy shit. And then in Seattle, I don't think they got better by any stretch.
Maybe by a skosh, but then you cancel it out because they got Martin Jones as a backup. now.
Yeah, see, right? I mean, any team who has Jones, I mean, give it a fuck. Remember what Jones did to Philly last year? Come on. So I'm just saying. All right, we've pounded this rock.
I still need Martin Jones's agent to call me.
So, I mean, Eric, final thoughts on this? I mean, we obviously need to see how the rest of the staff shakes out. We're of course, tremendously invested into how the expansion of the drafting and development department comes along. But
It's gonna be interesting to see how Doug Waite gets his hands on a lot of this. I believe there was another gentleman mentioned that's going to be in charge of the director of scouting or some sort of different name.
yes,
We heard.
yeah.
Apparently, he changed his name, his job status on LinkedIn, and that hasn't been named just yet. But it's going to be interesting. I think this year is going to be.
I think
like,
JD called
that's your
that
free
out
ride.
about the LinkedIn thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. JD from Locked On.
So,
I just this year. It's have your expectations lowered. My always had my expectations has been the first year was 17 wins. The second year was 11. At least get to 25, guys.
no, I like the
let's
idea.
hope. I mean, if you hit 28, the amount of wins they had at the Cow Palace, I'll say that's probably successful. And fingers crossed that the lottery balls drop for the Sharks.
Dude.
Because if they can land Bedard,
You talk
if
about
they can land Connor Bedard, that changes things dramatically for this team.
sure.
this franchise is so due to hit some sort of luck. I mean, can we all just this is the franchise that fucking started off by not getting Eric Lindros, right? I mean, it's got to swing their way at least once. But I do look forward to the whole thing of a couple of years ago it was all this is Sharks territory, and it's Sharks for life, and it's Teal together, and now 2022-23 lowered expectations. That's what I'm looking for.
2022-23. Why aren't you watching the Barracuda?
Because they don't have AHL Live, damn it.
Dude, it's going to be Sharks for life, CUDA for now. Ian, your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Everything's awful. No, I don't know. Look, it's not awful, but it's not good. I'm curious to see. There's a lot of things that still need to happen. Obviously, I don't think this team is done. I don't think they're done moving the deck chairs around. I think that there's definitely players on their way out. I wonder if a guy like Kevin LeBanc has played his last game as a Shark. I think obviously they have to figure out this goaltending thing because they've got to give. I mean, they just re-signed Kaapo Kähkönen, so they've got 4 guys signed. They got to figure that out. I don't know, man. There's just so much on this team that doesn't make sense, and I'm hoping it's going to make sense at some point. Like going into the season, I want to be able to do a season preview and be like, this makes sense. This is what's going to happen. I don't want to be sitting here going, I have no earthly idea what this team's fucking doing.
I can't wait. The Sharks preview, where Ian is quoted as saying LA is going to be a fucking wagon this year.
Shit. When's the Barracuda preview? I'll show up for that.
Absolutely. Bay Area Sports Cards. You think we make the playoffs? No way in hell. No way in hell.
No, I mean right now it's just like I said. I think this team is in it's in transition, right? And like I think a lot of people, like everyone likes to focus on the extremes, right? Like I'm not saying the Sharks have made a mistake with Mike Grier, but Mike Grier's done nothing to say that they haven't made a mistake so far.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I'm just like, the jury's out, and it's going to take time before we can figure this out. But right now, like, there's nothing that's happening that I've been remotely excited about. I think the only thing that came in about where I expected was the Capo Kakinen deal. The rest of it's been like just meh. And even some people say the Kakinen deal's too high, but I think it was fine. I think that was about what I was maybe a couple 100,000 more than I was expecting. So,
dude, it came in right in line where I thought. I'm going. Y'all remember what Nabby wanted, right? This is a steal. Oh, and evidently, Sharks for Life, CUDA for now. I need to make a shirt out of that. I'm just good. 22-23 San Jose Sharks. We got a new scoreboard. There's that.
Can't wait for that.
you can see the other team as the score for the other team goes up and up and up.
Oh,
Yeah, you can see it in now. Beautiful 4K resolution. Oh my God. Yeah. When Erik Karlsson gets pyloned, you can see it from literally any seat in the arena.
No, Jesus.
All right. So, thanks for checking us out yet again. Summertime. So we just keep on keeping on, and hopefully at some point, and I pray it's soon, we're going to be able to come on, do a little Teal Town Live, and be excited about something that happened, because it's been few and far between these last few Teal Town Lives. Let you know. Ian, do you plan on doing a TTG anytime soon with the boys?
Soon. It's a scheduling thing. It's trying to get all our schedules to line up. Adult schedules are dumb. Like, I just wish we could go back to being
and play.
Kids, and we could just podcast whenever the fuck we want. But that's just not the way things work, unfortunately. But we are going to try and get to something done soon. It's just getting our schedules to line up.
Groovy. Anything else?
And if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, let's make that happen. We see you, 116 people. And if you're not watching this live, leave a comment down below to tell us what you think of David Quinn being the 11th head coach in San Jose Sharks history.
Yes. Good. Thumbs up. Give me the finger in person, but give me the thumb on the video. That's all I'm asking for. That again, another T-shirt. I should be making T-shirts over here. All these. Yeah. Someone needs to hire me for their promotion staff. Anyway, we thank you again for joining us. As always, do us a favor, subscribe to us on the UBTube, follow us on Twitter and Instagram and blah, 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 all the other places. Venmo is where you can tip us out if you enjoy what we do here and keep us commercial free, because definitely we don't want to be throwing that little, I don't know, crowbar in the middle of a good topic to the. What was the last thing Adam Wilde had to like dangles right in the middle of something, and all of a sudden Adams jumped in and he's like, "Are you prubes too long?" Like, it really kind of fucks up the conversation. So we want to
friend of the show, Adam Wilde. We love you, bud, but
we want to stay commercial free, so the donations totally help out. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. With that, I think we can wrap it up and say good night, everybody, and look for us sometime next week when the announcement does in fact happen. I don't know that we'll talk about it unless it's part of a larger announcement, but of course follow us on Twitter. We'll be, part of the media session, so you can look for the quotes and everything on the Teal Town USA Twitter. All right. Thanks for joining, and good night, everybody.